This is Julia with iCadenza, and I'm here at the Seger Strong Performance Hall in Costa Mesa with world-famous conductor Valery Gergiev, who has graciously agreed to speak with us for a few minutes. Hello, maestro.
Hi.
My first question for you is, you have such a full schedule. Sometimes you have a concert in different time zones followed by another concert in another time zone. How do you manage to maintain such a schedule?
Or you just have to remember what's a program and what's the orchestra in front of you. I think then the rest is what you do normally. You have to know that it's a Brahms symphony, it's not Mozart symphony. Or it's Tchaikovsky, not Shostakovich. That helps. And then, there are flights and there are cars and sometimes trains. And we somehow manage. I think all of us, all conductors, manage somehow.
It's truly amazing. And how do you do your programming? A few days ago, we saw you in San Diego at the Copley Performance Hall with an all-Russian program. And today you're performing Mahler's Fifth Symphony. How do you do your programming?
Well, we didn't start preparations yesterday. You prepare, first of all, to become a professional musician for many years, maybe 15, maybe 20. And then you have to be prepared for many, many symphonies if you're called professional conductor, and especially music director of a big orchestra or big orchestras. So the repertoire is normally in your head. And also people maybe don't know very much about how classical music performances are prepared, but orchestras do not become familiar with a certain symphony 1 hour before the concert. In San Diego we played Russian program, so Tchaikovsky symphonies, there are 6 symphonies, and Mariinsky Orchestra is supposed to know very well quite a lot about these symphonies. So we just need acoustic rehearsal, which we had, and then we are ready to play. In the same way, I can speak about Brahms symphonies or Mahler symphonies or Shostakovich symphonies, Prokofiev symphonies. It is, in general, is assumed that big orchestras know quite many symphonies well. Then they need certain, work, sometimes few touches, sometimes a little bit deeper, and you work with details which has to become clearer and clearer, and then you start to feel that everyone is in a good shape and people are prepared for the concert. Then you just do the concert.
And the effect is incredible. You're known for truly producing a theatrical performance and for getting the orchestra to do something that many orchestras that are not led by you really can't do for some reason. There's an elusive factor.
Orchestras can do good things. So also those orchestras which I do not conduct, they can do very, very good things for sure. And we just have to remember that one conductor can, of course you can conduct 50 orchestras, but there is no need. You can be very, very happy with 3 or 5, even with 1, by the way. There were some great conductors who just conducted one orchestra for many, many, many years, or even for many, many decades. But it is clear that you need huge experience, and you have to have what you call knowledge. When experience and knowledge come together, and if you have little gift, also doesn't hurt, and then you can make orchestra feel motivated and focused on what happens in front of public. But it would be not a good idea to talk about how I manage or how conductors manage, because it's a profession. Everyone spends time to become professional, and conductors, at least serious conductors, real conductors, spend astronomical amount of time preparing themselves for international activities. Astronomical. You are talking about thousands of hours, and this huge investment into your future activities is happening when you are 15 years old, or when you are 20 years old, 25. You are still learning, and some people start even when they're 5 years old. They already play piano or violin. But for me, from the age maybe 15, I would say 15, 16, it was clear that I most probably will focus on conducting, and I already was becoming more and more familiar with the main repertoire, core repertoire, Beethoven symphonies, Brahms symphonies, Mozart, but also chamber music, and then later some operas, and it was becoming more and more interesting to open new doors and to learn a lot more about music I simply couldn't know so much about when I was a boy, you know. So that was a very lucky time for me, and I think it made it then easier for me to stand in front of musicians of any orchestra in the world, that you feel that you are already equipped, you know, you are supported by this just knowledge and experience. Experience means you immediately spot if it's a beautiful sound or not. Is it clear enough or not? There are many, many things you can mention here, but to become a conductor, you have to understand quite a lot about how orchestra sounds, different sections, orchestra altogether. It's a big area. We cannot talk about details because it will take hours.
Of course. Do you memorize every piece that you conduct?
Not every piece, because sometimes I conduct extremely complicated music, and I don't think it's easy to memorize. I just conducted yesterday opera called Nose, The Nose, of Dmitri Shostakovich. It's a big hit in New York, very successful, really interesting production. I don't think there are many people today living in the world who can conduct this opera by memory. It will be very difficult to imagine that unless someone is ready to spend at the expense of many, many other compositions, so, I mean, astronomical amount of time just to learn it. So there is no need to, and anything can happen during the performance, even if you know a piece very well. But sometimes anything can happen. So sometimes you even can look and say, well, this is rehearsal figure 56 or rehearsal figure 65. But I repeat, anything can happen. Sometimes lights go off, sometimes people feel, you know, not so good, and so on. So you have to be prepared for unexpected, and when the score is in front of you, it's maybe a little bit safer,
What goes through your mind the moment before you start conducting a piece?
I just think sometimes of acoustical realities, because there are many, many different halls. I'm thinking which section will need my support, which section will be a little bit more dangerous in terms of being maybe a little bit too loud. Sometimes one section overpowers the rest of the orchestra, and that's not good. It can be percussion section, it can be brass. So your experience during acoustic rehearsal is something what helps you quickly sort it out, what you want or what you don't want to happen. And this is what you call focus before the concert. You concentrate, and sometimes you feel very comfortable if the whole you know very well, the orchestra you know, and you just think of composer, or you just want to keep your good mood and want to go and start this concert. People say, I can't wait, you know. That's the best mood. When you say, oh, I want this concert to start as quickly as possible because it's going to be so much fun.